hearts and voices, voices, hearts and hands. And caravans of friendships last long as the mountain stands.
Not a stress or strain is found here, for it must be.
All right, that's just one of the songs you'll hear from Dirty Dancing at the Fabulous Fox. It runs October 21st through Sunday, November 2nd. One of the actors who's in the play, Gary Lynch, joins us. Gary, welcome to Big 550 KTRS.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You play Max Kellerman, which is the club owner, correct?
Yeah, the resort owner.
Yes.
Yes.
Small part in the movie. Is it a bigger part in the play?
It's about the same.
About the same,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe a little more enhanced than the stage version, but about the same.
I love this musical, or I love this the story, because there's a whole backstory in which nobody really got when they watched the movie.
Right.
Right? I mean, it's the Catskills, 60s, the end of an era, and your character sort of sums it up at the end.
Yeah, I oversee the entire operation. That's my job, and I also introduce every character in the show. In case you didn't know, that's part of my job as well. But yeah, I'm the caretaker of the place. It's loosely based on Grossinger's, which was a Catskill resort.
Right.
And so my character is basically based on Paul Grossinger, and Eleanor Bergstein, who wrote Dirty Dancing, wrote the movie, and she was instrumental, obviously, in the process that we had to develop this. You would fill me in about little insights about Paul Grossinger, so I tried to incorporate a little bit of those as well.
It's sort of a perfect, people wonder what makes a good musical, makes a good play, makes a good movie. This is sort of a natural fit, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's iconic. It's part of American culture. Everybody knows nobody puts baby in a corner. They can't wait for the lift. Whoop, there it goes, and then bang, everybody's on their feet. So yeah, it's part of our pop culture history, and I think it has that's part of the lore of it. It's great. It's a great piece. It's really fun. Fun to do, too. Really, really fun to do.
October 21st through Sunday, November 2nd. Have you, is this your first time at the Fox?
Yes. I've been to St. Louis many, many times. My wife is originally from St. Louis.
Well, then I'm surprised you don't live here.
Well, I took her away. I'm sorry.
Where'd she go to high school?
Where did she go to high school? She grew up. She grew up. You're asking me all these questions.
That's right. Well.
She actually was in Jeff City for high school. She moved to St. Louis.
Okay.
She went to Webster Conservatory.
Okay. All right.
And she was a big icon in St.Louis during the 80s. She was. I was just on the way over here. Her name is Beth Bauer, and she used to be the face at the Lambert Airport saying, "Welcome to St. Louis." Yeah.
I always wondered what would happen to her. You stole her away from us.
I married her and I moved her east.
All right, there you go. So what are your thoughts as you look at the Fox?
Oh my God, what an amazing, amazing place.
Yeah.
I mean, the history is unbelievable there. I was talking to Sarah, who drove me over here today. Just going backstage and looking at the murals of all the shows that have been here and the history, it's like a museum.
Yeah.
And it's haunted, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're doing haunted tours, and they've seen there were ghosts in
Really?
the Fabulous Fox.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
so be careful.
I've played a few theaters where there've been a few ghosts, so it's okay.
Now, normally, a normal Broadway theater is much smaller.
Oh, yeah.
And this is infinitely bigger. Do you have to do anything different? Do you have to? Is it a different stage? Different?
No, you do your show. Basically, you do the same thing. The audiences are amazing anyway. But what was really interesting last night, I said, because I live in the New York metropolitan area, I said, "Wow, what a great feeling to play Giant Stadium." I mean, it's like it's a big place.
Huge.
But it amazing. You look out at the architecture and just what it represents in the terms of the theater history. It's just incredible.
Explain to me, because I don't think people understand this enough. It's very hard, and that's sort of the artistry of it all. But the actors are on stage. You have the musicians in the orchestra pit, and the conductor is telling the actors and the musicians when. How does that work?
Okay, here's the deal though. We don't have a pit. They're above we have an LED wall. I mean, have you seen the show?
No, I have not seen the show.
Well, the whole thing, we have these LED walls that looks like a movie.
Okay.
I mean, the backdrops move and everything, and they sit up on a platform in tuxedos and band shells above the LED wall. They're visible through the entire show.
Oh, wow.
And so the conductor actually has a little camera, and there are television screens on the chair rail of the mezzanine. So when we look up, we can see him conducting in the camera. So it's pretty amazing.
So you're watching the conductor on the television screen
Yeah.
on the facade of the mezzanine.
That's correct.
And what do you watch? You're watching him give the notes. So you know when to sing and when to dance and when to step.
He'll give.
Or do they follow you?
Well, no, he's. You can also hear the music, but we call it the Alan Cam because his name is Alan Prado, and he's an amazing conductor.
Right.
And we say, "Oh, we're watching the Alan Cam," and so he'll conduct the tempos and cue you and
Right.
so forth and so on. So
Wow.
that's how it works.
How similar to the movie? How different to the movie?
Oh my
songs?
God! It is the movie on stage.
It is.
Yeah. Exactly. Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
much. And I think that's one of the things that makes it so amazing for the audience is because they know what they are expecting. Those
Right.
lines.
So they sing along. And,
Yeah, well, I don't know if they sing along. It's pretty, but they definitely they listen. And the show moves at a really great pace. I think there's 45 scenes in the first act and like 43 scenes in the second act. But it's cinematic, so they bleed together.
Sure.
The transitions are smooth, and so it just keeps going. It rolls. You never go, oh, okay. You're in it every second.
So it leads up. I mean, it lives up to its name, Dirty Dancing.
Oh,
I hear there's a
absolutely.
lot of dancing.
There's a lot of dancing, and our cast is amazing. We have some amazing dancers, and that's one of the highlights I think of the show is watching them dance is amazing.
Started last night, runs through November 2nd at the Fox, Dirty Dancing. I've got to talk, you mentioned it, but I got to ask you about the most iconic line in the movie, which is
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Nobody puts baby in a corner. When that happens, does the crowd go crazy?
Oh my! Well, first of all, Johnny comes through the house.
Right.
The spotlight picks him up. We're singing the Kellerman's anthem, and all of a sudden the crowd gets a little buzz. Everything stops on stage. He takes a long cross to the table, and when he says, and Sam Pregandi, who's our Johnny Castle, who's amazing, says, "Nobody puts baby in the corner," and the entire place just goes, "Wow!" It's pretty awesome.
Everyone loved that.
One of the most iconic lines in one of the most iconic movies ever.
Absolutely,
Right.
without question.
And the lead actors don't sing though, right?
No, because it's not really a musical. It is the story on stage with music. We have two vocalists who sing most of the show, and they are amazing. Jen Lee Shallow and Doug Carpenter, and just to hear them sing is worth the price of admission.
So the actors aren't singing; the actors are talking.
Yeah.
And the music is around them.
Yeah. It's like a hybrid, really, when
Wow.
you think about it.
Really interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's not billed as a musical. If you notice in the byline, it says Dirty Dancing, the classic story on stage.
Oh.
There you
So
go.
there you go.
Gary Lynch. It cost $5 million to make the movie.
Yeah, we made that last night.
$170 million at gross back in the mid 80s.
Yeah,
I guess.
and we're playing sold out houses.
Yeah.
Amazing,
Yeah.
everywhere.
And it bombed. I
What's
mean, the critics hated it, right? The critics were big fans of it.
They weren't into it right off the bat, and it became a cult following. And then all of a sudden, one of the trivia things about it, the movie, Patrick Swayze wanted that line cut. He said, "Nah, that's a terrible line. I don't want to do it."
Right.
And they said, "No. It's part of Eleanor probably pressed him on it." And he was like, "I want it out. I want it." And he lost.
Right.
And thankfully he lost
Right.
because it's
There it is. Gary Lynch plays Max Kellerman, Dirty Dancing, now through November 2nd at the Fox. Sounds like it's a must-see. Gary, thanks for coming in.
Oh, thanks, Roth.
You got it.
Kelly.
And tell
you.
your wife, make sure she takes you to Ted Drew's. Is she here in
Oh,
town?
Ted Drew's one of my favorite places.
Is she here in town with you?
No, she unfortunately is not. She's back east.
All right. Do you have a favorite
gotta
flavor
go.
at Ted Drew's?
I like the Elvis.
Try the McGraw, half Oreo, half Heath.
Yes,
oh, whoa.
he has his
We'll
own
you have your
concrete.
own at Ted Drew's.
There you
Okay.
go. Gary
Great.
Lynch plays Max Kellerman, Dirty Dancing musical at It's the classic story on stage. Now through November 2nd. The Fox Theater. Thank you, Gary Lynch.